I don't see where it does harm in here.
But why,
Well, you could just as easily pull it off, but what do you think, Mary? On that?
Decided to leave it alone the last time.
You're hungry, that's all. I get your motivation.
keep moving.
Parks and Recreation, and that was the last one.
Next brings us up to 9/8. That was our last meeting. Let me put this back in order. One moment, please. Uh, 6/7 and 6/13, those had to do with Public Works and Department of Parks and Recreation.
That was renaming, basically.
Well, there was a
No,
shift
it
in
was one.
function,
Yeah.
because the maintenance
Yes.
responsibility went to Public
Now,
Works.
we didn't vote these.
No, we didn't.
Just so
No.
we're clear on this.
Right.
Did we not vote them?
No,
No.
we discussed, we asked you to make language, and then we need to,
Yeah, I think that's.
Oh, yes, I have handouts.
Uh-oh, I was gonna say.
Yes, we took votes, but you asked me to prepare language.
that's correct.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Pete.
Detail.
First is 6/7, dealing with the Department of Public Works.
Has that changed from this? You handed out last week.
I don't think it changed. I don't think you recommended any changes to the proposal that I offered to
It has
you.
changed.
Nope.
Yeah, it does.
Well, yes.
And the second item was 6/13. It was kind of the corollary to 6/7 because some of the responsibilities of the Department of Parks and Recreation were shifted to Public Works. And there was a change in the title of the director of that department. He's no longer the director of Parks and Rec, he's the director of Recreation.
So this is the old procedure.
That's the language for this. Oops.
Did everyone get one? Okay. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
With the adoption of the city clerk language, there were some other changes that were made necessary.
Yes, the human resources and the
Right.
welfare, housing and welfare
Yeah.
area. That was just a change in name.
Health and Human Services.
Before you get to that, however, six three as it currently stands makes reference back to 3-3 that you've now changed. You deleted language which allowed the council to appoint assistant city clerks,
That's correct.
and 6-3, which is the general appointment language, referred back to that by exception.
Right.
We don't need the exception anymore because you've deleted that exception. So here is some new language for 6-3. Apologize to all the trees.
Welcome to government.
They're fulfilling their role.
Yeah. Did we get enough?
We got the city clerk. Accept this.
Next, I have for you, as you expected, language change to 6-2, and these changes relate to name changes in the two departments. Used to be Health and Housing, now it's Health and Human Services. Used to be Personnel, now it's Department of Human Resources, or Resources.
And these are the changes we actually voted on
Oh, that's time.
already, so they don't need to be revisited.
Correct.
So what do we need to act upon?
Peter, it's on the Parks and Rec piece, right?
That's right. Those are the only ones that need action from us.
I make a motion, we accept the,
Oh,
no?
you want to do that right now? Okay. Do
Yeah.
with the park, okay.
Yeah, that we
Yeah,
accept
might as
the
well.
submission on Parks and Rec, and what's the other one, Jim?
Public Works.
Public Works.
So it's section 6-7
6-7 and 6-13.
and 6-13.
Right.
So a motion has been made that we accept the language in those two sections. According to your handouts, any discussion?
You did.
Hearing none, I'll try your minds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay.
This,
13.
item 5.
6-3. Item 5 is discuss any other changes to the charter. Do you have one more
Well,
handout?
I think I've lost track of exactly what just happened.
Okay, what just happened, Rick, just so you'll know, is you gave us the language for Public Works and Parks.
6-7 and 6-13.
Right.
Yes.
We never voted on those.
Okay, so
And
now
so
you've
we
done
just,
that.
we
Now we just
voted,
did
we
it.
accepted.
All right.
That's all that
And you adopted the city clerk sections? And
Yes.
did you vote on 6-3, the change to delete the exception?
We did not vote on that yet.
We can. I make a motion that we,
Well,
go ahead.
Can I just ask one quick question about that? The present legislative assistant position, as we just approved today, okay, that language requires the council to, by 2/3 majority, to approve it. Why wouldn't we still use an exception to that position in this?
Because the appointing authority is the mayor.
Okay, the mayor's gonna appoint that person, and the council's gonna vote, she'll vote to confirm that person.
Confirm.
Mhm.
Right.
But the exception language in 6-3 relates to the appointing authority, and that's the mayor.
But doesn't that
Okay,
say-
fair enough, I got you. Fair
But doesn't
I
that
agree.
say to disapprove, that they can know, they can two-thirds to disapprove, and we flip that around to say they must approve?
By the vote,
The-
affirmative
the-
vote.
We said they confirm by.
That's right. This section concerns appointments, and our council just reminded me that the language we voted on earlier this evening as to the legislative assistant provides the mayor will appoint, not that the council will appoint, the mayor will appoint.
Right.
The council shall, so this is fine, the deletion's fine.
And because we took out 3-3,
That's
the
correct.
language except those appointed by the common council pursuant to 3-3. Okay.
So,
So these are right the way they are.
yes,
So we've
it's
got-
right the way you did it.
Okay.
So I'm
Motion.
just wondering if you want to entertain a motion to adopt the
So
amendment to 6-3.
Second.
Okay, you have before you an amendment for appointments of officers and cities of employees, section 6-3. We do need to adopt that if we're going to go ahead with it. Would someone make a motion, please?
Joan did.
Joan did.
Joan
did.
made a motion that we accept 6-3.
It just needs a second.
A second? Mary Comstock. Any discussion? We've kind of been through this, but then again, we've been through a lot of things. All in favor?
Aye.
Signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Next, would you care to adopt the proposed changes to 6-2 concerning name changes to the health, what was the health department and what was the personnel department?
I think we
already
We
did
voted on
that.
that, yes, we did.
Yes.
Just now, I missed it.
No,
That's where I
you
kind of
did that.
flew off the
Yeah.
top.
Last week.
last week.
Okay, okay. So I was just providing you with language.
Yes.
Yes.
Got it. And I have language here for Health and Human Services Department. That would be section 6-11 of the charter.
That's correct, we voted for that too, that's the replacement of health and housing.
Right.
And, but beyond the name change, there was a consolidation of responsibilities. There used to be a welfare department and a health department, now there's one thing.
Okay, so we only voted about the name
We
change.
did, we voted just on the name
Did
change.
not have a
Yes.
discussion about the
Right.
function change.
So I want to pass these out, and you can choose to vote on this tonight or next time.
And this is actual function change now?
Correct. This proposes three things. One is a change to the language dealing with the health department. One is the deletion of language dealing with the current welfare department. And the third is just to remind you that we need to now renumber all the sections. Because we will be deleting the section that relates to welfare.
Okay. So 612 goes away.
Were they both charter
Yes,
departments?
yes.
Yeah,
So
612.
then I can read over the word recent consolidation. That didn't take place, right?
Yes,
Yes, it did.
It's already been done.
It's already been done. Like 2 years ago or so, wasn't it?
Yes.
No.
In terms of function.
It's in transit.
Yes.
It occurred.
Mhm.
Shall we employ the whipping post?
Okay, any questions about that? Can I have a motion, please?
I will bow to my colleague at the end of the table.
For what?
A
A
motion.
motion for this one, to accept this?
Except 6.
Deletion of 612.
So basically, all we did was add and human services
Right.
into the,
Right. The health director picked up on that.
right.
Mhm.
Okay, may I have a motion?
Didn't somebody already move that?
I didn't hear one.
I'm looking for a signal from my colleague at the end of the table.
Just make.
I'll make a
John.
motion that we accept the changes.
As delineated in this
In
handout,
this,
relating
yes.
to section 6-11 and the
Yes.
deletions in 6-12, et cetera, et cetera.
Second.
Second, any discussion?
I just have a question.
Yes.
For council. There are separate statutes in Connecticut regarding municipal welfare functions. And I don't mean to bore the rest of the commission with this, but my memory's a little hazy. Is each town required to have a welfare department under those sections?
The requirements of the state of Connecticut have changed dramatically from the days when we had welfare departments that dealt with distributing
Financial assistance.
financial assistance to people who qualified. Right now, as things stand, those functions have been taken over by the state and modified.
Completely.
Yes.
Okay. So there's no longer a state funding for what we used to consider city welfare.
There's, correct.
Okay.
And to amplify, there's no longer a function being performed by the welfare department of old or the current health and human services department that involves distributing funds.
Okay, so the functions that formerly Debbie McKenzie supervised are pretty much, for the most part, not in existence in city government.
That's right.
by the change in state statute.
There
Fair
are,
enough.
there are other things that are done.
I understand
But not
that, but there's specific ones I was interested in. All right, I have no problem with this then.
Thank you, Peter. That's why I asked, that's why I was looking toward you for advice.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded that we accept this language as is. Any more discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting passes unanimously. Do we have anything else from our esteemed council?
I have no further handouts.
All right. Then let's go over a little bit on the process.
No, item 5.
Oh, item 5, any other changes that people would like to make to the charter? Have we missed anything?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
There is one piece of business I would like to bring back up. At the last meeting, we took a vote on reducing the referendum, and one member of the commission was missing, and that meant 2 votes were missing from the roll call. The vote was very close. It was a 4-3 vote, I believe. The other commissioner is here, and if Diane would like to make a motion to submit her original motion, I think we ought to vote on it again.
We would need
That's
to
on
add
the
that,
referendum, reducing it from 15% to 10%, I'm sorry.
we would need to add that to the agenda.
No,
then.
it's on the agenda by item number 5. We covered under that.
Well, it's not specifically on
No.
Can we do that?
What does item number 5 say?
It says,
Any
commission to
other
discuss
changes?
any other changes to the charter.
I would recommend that you add it by a specific vote.
Okay.
All right, do you want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we revisit the motion by Commissioner Savello to change the percentage for referendum.
All right, a motion's been made that we add an agenda item, which would be revisiting the referendum percentage. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, a motion's been made and seconded that we add to the agenda referendum percentage. Discussion.
I'd really like to discuss this at another meeting, because I think that this is now an important topic. We've adopted as a commission a 4-year term, and I told you I'd be comfortable with that if we all voted for it. So if that's the case, I think that the fine balance that was in place in Danbury with referendums, with bonding, has been altered a little bit by a 4-year term. And I haven't really given enough thought to what I would like to see as a referendum amount or change, but whereas I was not willing to consider it before, I am willing to consider it now, a change. And I'm not really prepared to add to this debate in terms of my reasoning at this time, but I do want to address this issue. And I just think it would deserve a place in a subsequent agenda by this commission.
Okay.
Wow.
And I base that on the adoption of the
Yeah,
4-year term.
because it's, the motion's going to need to be voted on, so it's time for discussion. Any other discussion? Bob, did you want to say?
Yes, I can appreciate what Commissioner Bezat is saying. However, this was a thing that passed by a very narrow vote, and we are going to be down 1 commissioner at our next meeting. And I think the importance of this, we can always amend it if we choose to, but I think it would be wise to take a vote on this thing to see if there is interest in pursuing it. And it shouldn't take a great deal of time to resolve this.
Okay. Any other thoughts on that?
Because I think we were all in agreement that we would not go below 10%. I don't think there was anybody who felt it should go below 10% at the time. Now, maybe you'll feel differently.
I feel
you know,
differently.
Peter.
Yeah, the discussion now is, do we want to address it tonight? Do we add it to the agenda? Anybody else? Comments on whether we add it to the agenda for tonight?
You know, the horse is already out of the barn as it relates to my comments, but this idea that we're gonna be revisiting things shows such a lack of respect to the prior votes and the prior reasonings and everything that was done by this commission prior, that we are and bullies, maybe a strong word, being bullied into looking at everything that we've already done because there may be a commissioner who doesn't think that this is the way it should, the vote didn't go the way he thought it, or she thought it should go. And I think it's a terrible precedent. I'm disappointed that we've had to do this, and I say that with all due respect to all the members and allowing Diane to vote. This is probably not even the proper time to bring it up, but it's as close as I can come. But I'm disappointed. I really am that this commission has dropped dropped to this level. I really am.
Well, you know, Commissioner Swenson, the thing that I'm bringing this up was at the last time, as I said, there were 8 members present, and the chairman could not vote because there was no tie. In essence, there were 2 non-voting. Had the chairman voted, I believe his intention was to vote for a decline in the referendum amount. Had he done that, it would have been a tie vote.
As I was saying,
Commissioner
this is.
Curran would have been then the deciding vote.
I just think that this whole idea of revisiting votes and re-voting on things that we've already voted on shows such a lack of respect of what we've done up till now. And the votes that were taken, the reasoning was done at the time, that we are reworking what we've already worked. Like I said, I think this is the wrong time to bring it up because maybe a vote in this particular case should have been done, but maybe this may be the one time we should reconsider it. But I'm just very disappointed that it's come to this. I really am.
Okay. Any other comments on whether we should add that to the agenda for tonight? I will try your minds. All in favor of adding it to the agenda tonight, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3 votes to add it tonight. Opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4 votes. So we will not add it to tonight's agenda. Okay, thank you. This section also is to discuss any other changes to the charter. Are there things that people would like to bring up that we have not addressed or that need to be readdressed as things have changed as we move through this process? Okay, then we'll move to the next section, which is agree on a process and timing to submit to the Common Council our report. Mr. Gottschalk.
I misspoke before. I do have one more handout.
What if we don't want to add that to the agenda?
It's titled Charter Revision Wrap-Up. And I thought that it would be of interest to you. It identifies the steps, starting with preparation of the draft report and ending with the adoption of new charter language. Clear enough?
How many people would like to be working on this in December? Signify by raising your hands.
And when are you leaving on your trip?
I am gone most of next month, so
Mhm.
that's why this is
Right.
somewhat timely.
Council, what kind of notice are we supposed to give for a public hearing?
Not more than 5 nor less than 15 days.
And does anyone have the dates that we had established in October for our meeting dates? So that we're not doing a special meeting? I'm sorry?
In October 6th and 20th.
Okay, because I had in there, are any of those holidays? Because I had a question mark on the
Columbus Day.
13th. Okay, so Columbus Day was the 13th, that's why I had that in there. Okay. So we know that we have a couple of items at the next meeting for agenda items, which will be October 6th.
Are you gonna be in?
I will be here October 6th, I will not be here on October 20th.
I thought the goal was to have the report to the common council by the first part of November. I thought that's what the time schedule that you had put us on. Am I misinformed?
If we can get it done, I think that that makes the most sense.
So you're not available for the 20th, is that correct?
That's that, I will not be here for that meeting.
Okay.
So the question is, Rick, what is drafting the report? Do you, what does draft the report? Do you basically put together all the language that we've done? I mean, is it simply compiling all of the changes that we've made and a cover letter? Or,
It can be whatever you want it to be. If I were going to draft it, that's what I would do.
okay. So drafting it shouldn't be terribly difficult. We've got to schedule a time for a public hearing, which would have to be then sometime in November at the earliest. Because of, what do you think, everybody? How quickly can we get this done?
We're only gonna have 2 meetings?
Well, we're gonna be meeting, you know what, we're gonna be meeting in November in order to do this, I'm sure.
Well, I think we should change our schedule. We should not have the meeting on the 20th. You're not here, and that meeting would be, instead of that meeting, have a public hearing when you're available, at your earliest availability.
Okay,
So we're looking at October 6th for a meeting.
Public hearing at some point in either the end of October or the beginning of November, and
When are
follow
you back from your
meetings.
trip?
You have to have the draft ready before the public hearing.
Right.
We'll do the draft next, in October 6th.
I would be back for like November 3rd if we wanted to stay on Monday nights.
Excuse me? November
Sorry,
3rd.
what?
Is that a bad day?
You're coming back when?
I'll be back for November 3rd is my first Monday back.
When do you leave? Will you be available on the 13th?
Well, that's Columbus Day,
Columbus
so
Day.
my guess is that's not going to work.
What about the 14th?
The 14th is a Tuesday. I am here.
Is there a problem with room availability on Tuesdays?
Yeah,
I'm sure
what's
we can
the,
find a space somewhere.
council
Council meets on Tuesdays.
on
Pardon me?
First Tuesday.
first Tuesday?
Right. So
Okay,
that's-
so the
that would be
14th is a
Tuesday.
potential date if you're, I mean, I'm not worried about you guys working without me. I would kind of relish the idea.
That's PTO.
Okay,
You don't think we're gonna get the draft report done next week? I mean, we have virtually all of these things here already.
we've got a couple of items, To finish up.
Discuss, yeah. And then-
so that'll be the
And
next
that's it.
meeting. So do you want to meet on the 14th? That would have to be a special meeting, and we'd have to post it as a special meeting.
To draft the report.
Now,
Is that what you're saying?
yeah, I'm completely confident that you guys could meet on that week, the week that I'm gone.
All right.
That would just be, that would be,
Then we would be discussing the draft, right?
Yes.
Correct.
yeah.
And
But the fact is, the work is done. I think it's more like,
Putting it together.
yeah, putting it together.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to keep our schedule as is?
would we then try to submit it? Would we, well, again, we're backed up. Do we have to draft a report before we hold the public hearing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
We do.
just
Well,
a
do
draft.
we have to present that to the public?
So-
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, we
Yeah,
do.
then you know what? Then I think what we do is let's keep our schedule.
Yes,
Goal is to have the draft report done by October 20th,
right.
and then we'll do the public hearing as early in November as possible, maybe by the end of October. How many days' notice, I'm sorry, Rick, on?
5 to 15.
Oh, okay, 5 to 15?
Correct.
So we could even possibly meet before the end of October, a public hearing before the end of October, or very early in November.
You have to schedule it with the newspaper, so they need some lead
Right.
time.
But based on that, that gives us a 2 or 3 week window before we get into the holidays. We would then have the public hearing.
Like the first week in November.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's elections and stuff.
And then I'm thinking,
God, yes.
then there's gonna be a little bit, well, there's gonna be a little,
November's election, hello.
well,
Yeah, no, we're talking about, we want people to come out and vote.
I didn't say we're gonna meet on election night or the night
Well.
before.
Night before, you know, we might need time.
That's on the point.
to prepare
Yeah, that's November
voting.
4th, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we made it for November 11th, which would be our normal meeting anyway,
It's PTO.
I think that's
Veterans Day.
state holiday.
No,
I have it as a 10.
no, the 10th.
It's being celebrated on the 10th.
Parent conference week.
so maybe,
November 10th, it's a Monday.
so what do you think?
Parent conference night, I won't be here.
November 10th, you wouldn't be here for the public hearing?
Parent conference week. Night.
Because if we get much later, we're gonna get into the holidays, and we're never gonna get people
Night.
either out or whatever. And then we hand it off to the city clerk, we would make January 1st easily on that schedule. If you want to slide it and go from the 10th to either the 17th, the 24th, I certainly wouldn't recommend. I mean, that's Thanksgiving week. If we let it slide after that, we get into December, and I'm not so sure that anyone's going to be real happy about that.
What is the 10th now, what we're talking about, I'm sorry?
Talking about having the public hearing?
Public hearing?
If we can if we can get the work done and the draft done next week, the draft basically completed October 20th, public hearing November 10th. I think these are targets. I don't think we announced the public
The draft
hearing.
is on the 20th now, not the 10th.
Hmm?
October,
Yeah, well, we could start the draft next week, but the next meeting, we have a couple of issues that we have yet to resolve. And then start the
And then start the
draft,
draft.
complete the draft on the 20th.
November
And
10th. No.
set up November 10th as a public
November
hearing.
10th is the Monday.
Yeah, November 10th is a Monday.
on the 8th,
You know what, I'm sorry.
cancel the 8th.
October 6th is the next meeting, not the,
Right.
so the next meeting's October 6th. We finish up what we're doing and start the
Right.
draft.
Said October 20th.
The draft is then done on the 20th,
All right.
This is the 10th.
That's-
and public hearing on the
Public
10th, tentatively.
Can I send my legal representative?
Yes,
Authorized.
Excuse me, authorized / legal.
yes, your designee.
My designate.
It's just a public hearing anyway. We'll have it all on
You
tape
won't
for
need me,
you.
is that what you're trying to
It'll
say?
all be on tape, so you can listen to
All
the
right.
tapes.
And after that, we'll go
And
revisit everything.
watch
we
it.
decided.
Oh, it's on tape.
And then I think
I can
after
come here
that,
and
then
watch
I think everything else will kind of take care of itself. We'll be on the toboggan ride. Any, Pete, Eric?
My only thought is that you may want to reserve a date, perhaps consistent with your schedule, for a discussion of what you've heard at the public hearing.
Mm,
The object of the public hearing is to provide input
Right,
And make
that you might
changes.
and make
benefit.
any changes.
That's on the 24th.
Revisit the revisions.
We could do that on the 24th. That's what we're scheduled for. That's
Start the draft.
When's Thanksgiving?
27th.
Thanksgiving's late this year. Last, very
late
last
this
week.
It's during Thanksgiving week.
So the 10th,
That's what it was, that'd be the-
Yeah, so November.
Okay.
So-
24th was the next schedule.
So-
November
For the
24th,
17th?
then we would meet.
24th.
Yeah.
What date?
The 24th?
That's what we're scheduled for already.
That's Thanksgiving week, is it?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Special meeting.
are people gonna wanna meet Monday of Thanksgiving week?
Unless you're baking pie.
Not gonna break a Monday
So
anyway.
11/24 is our meeting regarding the public session.
Right.
There
Okay,
you
so
go.
you got 6, 20th,
Okay,
November 10, November 24.
anything else? I've lost my minutes.
Is there any length this public hearing has to be?
30 minutes,
30 minutes?
2 minutes per person,
With or without authorized representatives.
with or without authorized
I
representative.
don't think we'll have that many people here. All right, so tentatively.
your attendance.
So tentatively, October 6th, October 20th, November 10th, public hearing, November 24th is our meeting regarding the public hearing, and then we will try to tighten it up with Mr. Gottschalk's input as far as loose ends and how we tie up this commission.
And just so I'm clear, it's your expectation that I will present a proposed draft report to you on the 20th?
That would be
Yes.
spectacular.
20th.
Yeah, but if you want to do a preliminary based on where we are up to that point, that's, I mean, if it's as much as we're just putting all these documents together, that would be great.
I haven't reviewed the draft reports from prior charter revision commissions recently to decide whether or not they're in some kind of narrative format or just a recitation of provisions and votes taken. But I think I'll do that and come up with something for you. I
That would be
don't really know what it should be.
I think most of us like the Federalist Papers model.
That's- If you could be somewhat Jeffersonian, we would really
No, he
appreciate
didn't do
it.
that.
Is
Yeah.
it possible?
Let's not get our founding
Oh,
fathers.
okay.
How about a paragraph with a bunch of bullets?
Is it possible?
Not that I want to hold you to a high standard.
Of December? That's what I'm hoping.
Rick, if we did this, we had our meeting after the 24th, and we present this by December 2nd,
Good.
right? There's nothing to stop us from doing that.
To
And
the
once it
common
gets,
council.
yeah,
The only possible disadvantage is that the common council has what seemed to me to be a burdensome schedule to meet. And if you pitch it to them in the beginning of December, then they're gonna have to schedule a public hearing within a time frame. Then they're going to have to make recommendations to you. They have to confer with you. You have to consider it, and things might get knocked out of whack. I think that's something we ought to take a look at. You can, there's nothing that prevents you from submitting it prior to your deadline. It's just that here we are, or there we will be in the middle of.
we would actually give them more flexibility if we waited till January to give them our
Yes.
report, and that would give them a wider window to hold their hearings. So probably, but you know what, if we can wrap our end up by November 24th, that would be great, because that'll give us a week or 2 weeks if we need to slide another meeting in.
But this
Okay.
16-month process, it doesn't include the review process, is that correct?
No.
No.
The 16 months
Is our
is your deadline for submission of the draft report.
Oh, we've got a lot more time then, Carlo.
As long as the expense account's working, let's keep it up. Just perfect.
Expense account? What?
Yeah, did
Oh,
you
you
catch that?
haven't gotten your check yet,
Forgot to
Joe?
tell you about that part.
Oh, sorry, Joe. Must be in the wrong political party. I will accept, would anybody like to, would anyone like to move that we adjourn the meeting?
No, we're having so much fun, I'm sure there's something else we can do.
Can we re-elect a new chairman? What?
Please.
We adjourned.
May I have a motion to adjourn? A motion's been made that we adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
No, just good luck to
All in favor, say aye. Meeting's
Alabama.
adjourned. Good night.
Good luck to the Alabama.
At least we can.
Yeah, go ahead and try to use it. Right?
That's good. Well, that
I
was
dare you to try to use it. Well, if it's an injury. I forgot to tell you.
Good job,
It's an injury.
Rick, thank you. Sorry about the little drag.
Now, that's funny.
On that note, I'm out of here.
Diane, we're gonna miss you, I really am. I won't forget our time. I won't forget our time. What do you get me?
Well,